Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Scavenging with Pineleaf, a series of tales, travels, and trifles. And we are back with Waldo, who I'm sure has more stuff to complain about.
What mischievous malefactor is behind all this?
I have an update regarding the request to be relieved. If you're curious, the Shire-wide Party Planning Committee has heard my case, and the Chief Party Planners are considering what to do in the matter. Only, while they stroke their chins and ponder, the number of cards up there has grown to staggering proportions. The old ones get underfoot, and the new ones make my head ache. What a mess! Let's go and see what's under for Year 8. Tales of Gimli. Yep. Battle of Gloin, Remembrances, Mir Amir, and of course, 42 orcs in Helm's epic battles, because 41 wasn't enough with Legolas. No. Gimli, why did you have to win that contest? Tombs and haunts. We need to explore various tombs all over the place, barrows and the like. Some of which I probably never visited at all in my time here. And finally, complete various instances. Oh yes, quite a number of instances here. Fortunately, these are actually doable. In fact, I probably have already done all of these because these are from the epic storyline. So obviously, they should be doable now if they were doable back then. But of course, we are going to, this week, work on Gimli. Naturally, we will begin with Gimli's father, Gloin over here, and at your service. He rose from his seat, bow, and Gloin at your service, and bowed lower still. Gloin, there we go. He is the first one we need to visit, but now we have to get over to Rivendell and collect some remembrances. Yes, scattered all over Rivendell. We have arrived in Rivendell, so now all we have to do is to find remembrances that are scattered all over the place. Though what they consider to be a good place for remembrance and what's not is of course an entirely different matter. But there should at least be one up near the last homely house, which is up over here, because there are quite a few memories here, both of Gloin and of course all of the various members of the company. Ah, here's the first one. Though that seems to be next to a dancing elf. That's our first remembrance. Now I have to find 5 more of these things. I wonder if Gimli ever went to the auction house. Somehow I have a feeling that the player type areas are the places that are least likely to be there. In other words, the places that are there for the benefit of gameplay pretty much purely, as opposed to the areas that are part of questing and a natural part of what's described. And I'm going to have to see how many of these things I can find, and it's not all that easy. That's what I got to tell you about that. Not easy at all. But I'm sure I'll find them eventually. Of course, there'll be one at the Spire of Meeting, because Gimli was there at the Council of Elrond. And there is absolutely no question that he had some memories there, because that is, of course, where he gets assigned to the task to join in the filter. Okay, he wasn't assigned the task there and then, but that's what decided what are we going to do with the ring, and are we going to have anyone in there? Yes, they insisted that there would be a fellowship, and since there would be a fellowship, it eventually led to Gimli being made a member of that company. So is there any other places where we've got a remembrance? Of course, what better place to remember Gloin than next to Gloin, where we first meet him in the game. With that done, now it's time to head into Moria, a place that every dwarf likes. Here in the Chamber of Miserable is where we learned about the death of Balin. And we have the Book of Miserable, which gives the story of what happened there. Now, you would think that the book wouldn't be here, because first off, Gandalf gave the book to Gimli, and he supposedly would have taken it out when they continued on their journeys. But for the purposes of in-game play, to have the clue here, I suppose they decided that Gimli must have dropped it in all the ruckus that happened once they read through it. But of course, then we eventually handed that over to someone over in the Chamber of Crossroads. A record of the fortunes of Balin's folk. Yes, that's what it was. And there's the inscription on the tomb, written in Dwarven runes. That's what happened there. Now, of course, after the Chamber of Crossroads, I guess they sent it back here then to be kept as a reminder of what happened over there. At least that's going to be the story I'm going to stick with for now. And that means it's time to leave Moria. Yay! We have made it to the other side of Moria and are now in the area of Mir Amir, and I think we need to find the lake itself, and here it is, the Mir Amir, and as you can see, it reflects the stars. Now you say, it's night. What a big deal is that? And that's because it reflects the stars even during the daytime. And unfortunately, we're at the wrong time of day to demonstrate that, but let us look into the lake anyway. Dark are the waters of Keldum Zaram, and my heart trembles to see them soon. Keled Zaram. Alright. Ah, those real jawbreaker names that they've got. But now it is time to visit, Legolas, and maybe a stable master will help with that matter. If you recall, when we were doing Legolas, we were asked to hug Gimli, so therefore, of course, when we're playing Gimli, we give a hug to Legolas. Legolas was away much among the Galadrim, and often he took Gimli with him. Alright, so that's Gimli and Legolas, and it's rather high up here. Hobbits don't like ladders, I think, all that much, but I think it's better than jumping off. And of course, we cannot visit Lothlorien without visiting the House of Celeborn. And of course, speaking to Galadriel, it is no easy thing to look into my mirror. Well, yes, but of course we are not remembering our own adventures or Frodo's, we are remembering Gimli's.
Is it your fate to help us thus, or a whim of choice?
I recall well, when meeting Gimli the dwarf, how he looked upon into my eyes, and it was as if he looked into the heart of an enemy, and suddenly saw their love and understanding. And of course, Galadriel's gift to Gimli, not one, but 3 of her shining hairs. And one of the reasons that's important is that It is said that Galadriel refused Feanor when he asked for a hair upon her head in helping, I think it was helping to craft the Cimrels or something like that. But, obviously, it depends on the person or what she sees in their heart when she chooses to give or not to give one of her locks. But now let's go and head towards the east wall. Oh, fun! Here we are at the east wall, and I think this would have been a really nice place for a remembrance, but there isn't one here. And we are to look for remembrances all the way from here at the edge of the east wall and continue all the way down to Eomer's vengeance, which is where he kills the orcs. And I'm sure that we are going to run into our first remembrance pretty soon. And we're going to remember the chase, of course, because it was a long, long chase all the way across the lanes of Rohan. And see, yes, here is the first one now. Yay! And now all I have to do is find several more, right? Of course. And let's see if we how long it takes us to find the next one. Here's the second one. Of course, when you consider the distance between here and Eomer's vengeance, you know very well that they are not going to be all of that frequent. So we'll just have to follow along and find which ones we can. This particular location is more of a remembrance for us than for Gimli, since I strongly suspect that Gimli did not notice a stable master here when he was going through. Nope, he didn't. What we do know that he saw was Eomer's vengeance, which is a little bit up the road. And this is where, of course, Eomer messed up all the Uruks that had taken Merry and Pippin. Of course, Eomer knew nothing about Merry and Pippin at the time. But, of course, he killed the Urukai and Merry and Pippin escaped in all the ruckus. Here it is. Eomer's vengeance. And then around here somewhere there should be remembrance, because this was the most important stop. There it is up there. The most important stop in the entire ordeal, because this is where they finally found the fate of the Uruks and gain insight as to what happened to Merry and Pippin. And that was very important in the entire matter. And that takes care of that little run. But now comes the biggest ordeal of all. That's right, another epic battle. And that leaves the other half of the contest between Legolas and Gimli on killing orcs. And of course, while I don't particularly like the Glittering Caves, in fact it's one of my least favorite epic battles, I have chosen that one because, of course, this is the epic battle where Gimli passed Legolas in the score, and these are Dunlendings, but apparently they're counting for orcs. So it's very liberal in counting orcs, because sometimes when they're orcs, they are very specific, like an Uruk, like what I just killed there, when it counts. There's some quests that ask for you to kill orcs that will accept any kind of orc kind, Uruk, Goblin, or orc. And then you have this quest, which is, oh, well, In their mind, the Dumblings are orcs, no better than orcs, so therefore they count. At least that's what it seems like to me here. So therefore I need to get 42 of these, but since the kills being done by Rohirrim count, since I'm sure if they required you to do the actual kill, there would have been a hue and an outcry on the servers. I think there probably was enough outcry just asking us to, well, 42, asking us to actually be the killer of all 42 would have been a bit much, I think. So yes, they need to go through an epic battle to do this. Is definitely a minus on this particular part, but at least they were liberal enough to make the situation tolerable. That way if we failed the epic battle or anything like that, you'd probably at least complete this quest here. And I think that's the main point, is making sure that the quest is not hindered by the need to do the epic battle. Because it's very difficult to get through. Yeah, because you have completed the quest just popped up there. And yeah, I haven't even got through the real nasty stuff yet.
Enemies are charging across the center rim. Protect Gimli as he uses the ballista.
Yeah, alright. I will. Okay, you protect Gambling as he uses the ballista. So I will follow Gambling and see what happens there. I'm not even too sure I've ever successfully done this particular side quest in here, because I've never realized exactly what you were supposed to do. So I'm going to go by the assumption that I am supposed to stay here next to Gambling. It looks like I can put out the fire and stuff like that. Actually, am I allowed to complete this while this is going on? Yes, I am. So let's see. Stalactites over the... See, the ballista cannot be destroyed. The signaling flags must not be destroyed. Oh, wait! You're supposed to protect signaling flags also? Oh, I'm dying! Alright, fine. See, that looks like... Okay, that's a banner. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, the bulletin board finally caught up there. Now, the trouble is, I'm not too sure there's any way you can protect both the signaling flag and the ballista. At least if you're doing this solo. Maybe for a duo, there's a place where you can protect the signaling flags and a place where you can protect Gambling. This is the first time where I've taken care of Gambling, but I have a feeling that I'm going to get a message soon saying...
The enemy has destroyed the barricades at the bridge.
Yeah. Right, because I haven't even seen an enemy attack a barricade, so that's way back there. So it could be that the enemy has broken the barricades and that the enemy breaks through the...
The enemy has overrun the bridges and has destroyed the ballista.
How can it be destroyed? I haven't even seen an enemy reach the place! Look at this! Completely undamaged! It's undamaged! How can you say the enemy destroyed the ballista when it's complete? Oh, forget it. I got my 42. We're done. We have returned from the party tree. Let's see if Wallow Rumble has heard a verdict yet. And I could tell him maybe about my journeys for Gimli. Well, maybe he won't believe it. The verdict from the party planning committee is still out, I'm afraid. Important matters do take some time, you see. Here is another reward for your patience in this important matter. Oh, do not snicker. It is important. My position and standing are in line here. Yes, alright. Check back at Waldo next week for another one, of course. La 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 la. But that takes care of that. So let's see what rewards we got. It is dawn here over in the Bay of Bephalis, and our reward for this time is a pig. So we can now have a pig following us. And the other reward is a copy of the Mirror of Galadriel. What's in it? Will I see anything interesting? No, apparently not. Well, of course, this is a rather unusual one because, yeah, I already had one here. I don't think I need 2 Mirrors of Galadriel here. I don't even think even Galadriel has 2 Mirrors of Galadriel. So it was a bit strange seeing that there. But that is it for today. When we return next time, we will have some travels to some locations that are a bit on the dead side. But that'll be in the next episode of Scavenging with Pineleaf, a series of tales, travels, and trifles.